The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, Cabinet Minister Colby Davis taking legal action after being caught up in a firestorm on social media, alleging extramarital affairs and corruption. Here's a very serious question for you tonight. Should the Cabinet Minister even respond to idle hands looking for hits and likes on social media? The Royal Bahamas Police Force beginning a series of meetings in Eleuthera tonight after some allegations of dereliction of duties in South Eleuthera. And Pride Bahamas says it isn't going anywhere, and gays deserve a space too. This as the group says their first Pride March was a success. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, Energy Minister JoBeth Colby Davis is calling for a full investigation into claims made by a social media commentator who alleges that the Cabinet Minister is wrapped up in a web of corruption and extramarital affairs. Now, before I go on, I just want to say this. You all know that there is a campaign happening in the United States. Democratic presidential candidate and Vice President Kamala Harris has been accused of being very friendly when it comes to the opposite sex. And those allegations are coming from people in her profession. Yet, the smart thing she's done is ignore them and kept going. I just want to rest that there because it's stunning to see that someone of Colby Davis's experience would actually be responding in the media to this. And so go back. Who is rolling the TP and going ahead of me? Well, Colby Davis has written to the Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernander, to have the matter addressed and request an investigation into and the commencement of criminal libel charges pursuant to the Penal Code against Ms. Brittany Harris for the malicious publication of defamatory statements concerning her on social media. Now, according to the letter, on the 14th of October, 2024, a post was made by the social media commentator through her Facebook page, Island Tea, falsely alleging that the minister was involved in corrupt practices and engaging in extramarital affairs. According to the letter, the claims are entirely untrue and have been fabricated with the clear intent of tarnishing Colby Davis's reputation and exposing her to public ridicule and scorn. The statement continues, the false accusations aren't only damaging to our client personally and professionally, but have the potential to cause irreparable harm to her standing as a public servant and the integrity of the office she holds. The malicious nature of the post, coupled with its wide dissemination on a public forum like Facebook, warrants immediate and serious attention. Given the severity of the allegations and the damage that has already been caused, we request that the Royal Bahamas Police Force promptly investigate this matter and pursue criminal charges for libel in accordance with the provision of the Penal Code. Now, Colby Davis spoke with Eyewitness News moments ago about the ordeal. And so, I want to start right there this evening. I want to start right there by, just as I said in the middle of that long thing I read, should the minister give attention? And yes, it's damaging. It's damning to her reputation, to her marriage, I suspect, to her career. But it's social media. I just am wondering, and then should it have reached the news? Well, we're going to talk about that this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Ellington Ferguson, good evening to you. Ellington, it's good to have you here. Let's just talk about this. I mean, we know that social media is sort of the undefeated foe in many instances. In terms of keyboard warriors will be keyboard warriors, or anybody could get up on a thing and say, I'm going live right now. This is what I'm saying. It's damaging. Yes, it is extremely. We understand that. But your thoughts about the minister's response?
Well, good evening, Shanique, and good evening, Bahamas. I think the minister has, firstly, a right, if she feels that her character is being damaged, she has a right to file police action, to take court action against whoever is leveling these accusations against her. She's a married woman with a child. She is a public figure who serves in the cabinet of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And we expect our leaders, our political leaders and all leaders to be above reproach. And obviously, if somebody is tarnishing the minister's character, I expect her to take legal action. I hope and don't expect her to allow this to draw her away from her work and not to get too caught up in the back and forth with the individual. Okay, allow the courts, allow your attorney to do it, and let's move forward. Let's continue to move forward.
And also the risk of having it play out in the media, where it then gets messy. Because once you go to the media the first time, there's always a second time. And the thing is, you want to be careful of what comes out, if anything.
There will always be follow-up. Once you get into the media and you get really into the official public domain, then things start going, especially one media house get it, and then tomorrow the other media house got to catch up on it, and things can continue to flame. So I hope and pray that the good minister will, in all wisdom, just allow this to play out in the courts, allow the process of the courts to take place.
Absolutely.
Because it's not going to help even her. See, because sometimes if it's a lie, lies can spread so much till it is accepted as truth. Once it's get out there and the masses begin to hear things, and that'll always be out there in people's mind, especially if you don't get to come to a resolve. Like, let's say, for example, when you go back to the electorate for a re-election, if there's not resolved before that, that is something that stays in people's mind, and they're looking at you with squinted eyes, whether it's true or not. And that can have a negative effect on you.
And believe it or not, bringing it at this level, meaning responding to a reporter pushing a mic in your face, it almost brings some legitimacy.
Sometimes the best thing to do is, I have no comment at this time. It's my lawyer's handling.
The absolute best.
That would have been, in my estimation, a better response.
The absolute best. Well, Ellington, tonight, the senior commander of the Royal Bahamas Police Force is on the island of Eleuthera after allegations of not treating residents who live in certain settlements in South Eleuthera fairly. In fact, Father Bradley Roberts says the police are failing to really police the settlement of Greencastle. Take a look.
The police has a responsibility.
Yeah.
The next week, a young man from Greencastle was caught with a gun and is serving 5 years in prison now. But this man is running around free. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that the gun that he used is an unlicensed firearm.
So obviously there are questions to be asked. Obviously there's a disparity going on.
There is a disparity.
A major one, obviously.
And Shanique, I would say it, and I said it privately, and I'm saying it publicly. And I want the Commissioner of Police to hear me. He needs to move those officers out of South Eleuthera and send other officers. They have become too familiar. They have become lackluster.
Not even too familiar. They're refusing, obviously, to properly do their jobs now. Allegedly, according to what you are saying, they are basically refusing to carry out responsibility thoroughly as they should.
Right, because your job is to be done without fear or favor. It doesn't matter whether it is Greencastle, it is Roxham or Tappan Bay. When there's a complaint made, the police must act. The Police Act says that the police responsibility is the apprehension and defender of crime.
Well, Ellington, you heard that was last night, and we obviously are going to wrap up in a minute. But your thoughts about the fact that these allegations were made on this show last night. Now, the police took quick action. I commend them for that. They're there on the island having meetings with the officers and I think a town meeting is set for tomorrow evening. But certainly a lot obviously is going on there in the south of Eleuthera.
Absolutely, Shanique. I thought those were scathing remarks coming from the father. And I join you in commending the Royal Bahamas Police Force for taking quick action. And this is how we get these communities clean up once police take quick action. However, I want to also speak to the people in Saudi Eleuthera, the young men, and the mothers and fathers of some of these men. I mean, come on now. We got to clean up our act. We got to clean up our act. I've heard stories about a number of arrests with guns in that little community.
In Greencastle in particular.
Come on, man, come on. And trust me, everybody know someone that has a gun. You know, a person have a gun and nobody else knows about it. It's a very small community. And if we want justice, we expect the police to handle us in the right way. We've got to begin to conduct ourselves in the right way above reproach. The community is too small for that, man. It's a quaint settlement. Eleuthera is now on the rise with development and a lot of stuff going on. And you want to damage it. You want to short circuit it before it even really get where it's going. Parents, please. Hold yourself accountable. Know what your children is doing. These young men, y'all gotta pull up your socks and be young men indeed, man.
I agree with you. One thing he said last evening was that the men of Greencastle are known to sort of be this family, and what they do is they all sort of come together. So if someone attacks you, then they attack the whole bunch. But how about you all change that narrative? How about you all become known as one of the most successful group of men on the island of Eleuthera?
Try to make peace.
Because that little silly little reputation you got
Absolutely.
going on
It's not good.
serves nobody. It certainly has ruined the reputation of Greencastle and yours. And how far is it getting you? You mentioned, and you were right, Eleuthera now is booming its economy from south to north. Are you going to sit back
and sabotage
your future and perhaps your kids and your family members in that quaint little settlement right there? Or are you going to turn the narrative around and show everybody else better than you can tell them? I think this is what needs to happen. And if those officers do need to be reassigned, then surely we have an ACP there this evening. And he certainly, of course, is meeting with everyone and trying to get to the bottom of everything. And by the way, the town meeting that's set for tomorrow evening, I think it is, or sometime tomorrow, be there. You know, Bahamians is a little unique bunch. They like to want sit down and tell me what go on, but be there. Everyone who is a resident of Greencastle in particular, who have been pointing fingers at the police, you be in the town meeting.
Participate.
And let them know
involved.
what the issue is.
Absolutely.
According to you.
Absolutely.
How about that? And so, listen, thank you very much for addressing and helping address these issues and bring some perspective to these issues, issues that are affecting the lives of everyday Bahamians right here in this nation. And that's what we are about here, trying to get some things in place and get each of us aligned. Thank you very much, Ellington.
My pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, the nation says, where's the church? Are they counting the offering and too busy doing that they didn't see a whole Pride March happening?
It's vacation time, Shanique.
Oh, it's vacation?
Yeah,
okay,
vacation.
so November is when the church come back.
Yeah.
Be back right after this. Stay close.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Why this car break up, man? This car dirty and the car place right across from this dude, 0 down.
At Montague Motors, we offer a wide variety of vehicles for an affordable price.
Man, look at you, man. This is a brand new car. You can't talk to you no more.
Montague Motors is located on Village Road North, just before the Shirley Street stoplight.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard. What
I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. To walk in the taxi, you gotta do the Lucky Walk, man. Thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You only win $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Bang along. Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played, dropping quick 4. This 5K incoming clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this lawn board. Bam.
I bet you my drink will come up before yours. Well.
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
Bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Looking for that perfect carpet happy hour experience? Forge connections, fuel success, and feel the beat. Join 103.5 The Beat each and every Friday at Club Waterloo. RSVP now, limited spots available.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Rights March was held this weekend as an activity during the 5th year of Pride Bahamas, where allies joined the LGBTI community as they marched in support of equality and visibility rights. Human rights defender for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Alexis DeMarco, spoke with Eyewitness News on the success of the first march.
We hosted a Human Rights March as an activity as a part of our 5-year celebration. As you know, we've been doing Pride Bahamas for 5 years, and in the 5th year, we decided that we were going to make our visibility of our advocacy known to the streets. During the walk, we had a very great time as it relates to showing and showcasing that we exist, that we are Bahamians, and we do have a right to exercise our freedom of association, freedom of expression through these walks and through this march. With the march, we started out from the University of the Bahamas, we went on to Ponciana, then on to Blue Hill Road, which led it to our safe space, which is our Hillside House, where we were able to congregate and have speeches and talk about reflections of 5 years and what it meant to us as being a community. On the route, we had human rights defenders, not just persons who were gay, but persons who were a part of the LGBTIQ community. That means our allies, and our allies are persons who aren't a part of the community or who don't identify as gay, but they support the work and the human rights of all people, including LGBTI people. Approximately, we started off about 26 persons at our start, and then we ended up with about 35 to 36 persons that joined us on the walk to the end at Cumberland Street, where we were able to disseminate information about the issues and struggles that LGBTI Bahamians face. The walk was successfully held with no altercations. You do have persons who were making religious remarks, but that's with everybody, because even on a church march, persons will make jeers, oh, why are they walking up the road of this traffic? So that was expected. But the main thing about the march is, to each participant of this march, every step taken that day was a step closer towards equality, justice, and acceptance and love for a community of people. vulnerable to abuse, mental illness, discrimination, and marginalization. I can truly say that the march was a milestone for the LGBTI human rights movement here in the Bahamas. And before we even had that march, within 5 years, we had to prepare our community to ensure that they understand the importance of visibility.
Marco explained that the event had a great turnout and went smoothly with the assistance of the Royal Bahamas Police Force as participants continued to join the march throughout its route. Well, I'll tell you, my phone was going off left, right, and center with people, not just here in New Providence, but certainly two individuals, I think from the weekend, called me and sent information. Of course, you see footage from the march. As you heard Alexis say that it started out, I think, as about 20-something people and then about 30-something people. So there it is, the footage of the march. And they're doing chants in terms of, I guess, freedom of expression, that kind of thing, human rights, etc., and just a number of things. And so, again, the march happened. It was historic, the first of its kind. Will next year be an even bigger march and an official sort of Pride Month march, as it happens around the world earlier in the year. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Pastors Patrice Smith and Carol Moss. Ladies, good evening to both of you. I know you both watched this keenly. In fact, you both were among many who figured that they just can just dump everything on my phone or call me, etc. But this is interesting because I'll tell you, people outside of New Providence who also sent and forwarded the information said, wow, this was the first Pride March. And how come the church was so quiet? So ladies, I'll ask you both. How is it that the church has been quiet, including the official representation of the church, the Christian church?
Good evening, Shanique, and good evening, Bahamas. It's so good to be here as usual, and thank you so much, Sister Shanique, for having us on. I'd just like to refer that to my good friend, Pastor Carol Moss, and I know she's going to do a good job there.
Well, Shanique, good evening. Good evening. I am outraged. I believe they said when good men are silent, evil men stand out. When good men are silent. So because the church seems to be so silent, then we have Alexis DeMarco and Thompson that can deceptively sneak in and do a march. Now, let me say this. One that's coward.
They did not sneak in.
No, they sneak in because we didn't know.
But
no one knew about that.
You think they were supposed to come knock on the church door and say, we having this march?
Well, they sneaked out because, for one, you say human rights. From you say human rights, and this is a gay rights. One, you are deceptive and you are a coward because you can't stand up for what you believe in. Had you stand up for what you believe in, you would have said gay rights. That's one. I think it's evil, it's deceptive.
The fly didn't tell you that?
No, well, you say human rights. So one, we ain't fighting up against you.
Right.
So we fighting up against the gay rights and the trans who believe they have rights with a woman. That's one. My thing is, two, I want to address the Christian Council. Now, Mr. Delton Fernando, I love you. You are a good man. I believe this. But when it comes to your stand in the Bahamas, you must stand up. Your team must stand up. Because we have persons who are trying to mark this territory. And they're trying to mark this territory. And next year, they said they're doing Pride Month. As the church, we must come together. Put all the schisms down, all the isms, all the stuff that we have together, and stand against this. Why? Because they're trying to mark this territory. DeMarco, I believe you are deceptive. I believe that God is going to raise up against you because you're trying to bring something here that the Bahamas Constitution fights up against.
Are you sure it does? See,
it fights up against. No, they know it's wrong.
Man, please, man.
They know it's wrong.
Sure it fights
That's why they said human rights.
Are you sure? Yeah, they said that, and I don't.
They know it's a gay
right. If I
right.
sneak something in this show, you think I wouldn't call it something else? It's up to you to be discerning. They got permission from the Royal Bahamas Police Force
deceptively
and were escorted. No, they
deceptively.
nothing was deceptive about
they
that.
They was deceptive by saying human rights.
Okay.
Had they said gay rights, I don't believe the police force would have endorsed that. That's what I believe. And then DeMarco is presumptuous and cold because you recorded that, and you know certain persons would have seen it to fight against you. But God is going to raise up against you. But I'm calling for the Christian Council to stand against and protect the borders of this country. You've been hired by the people. You've been hired by God. Stand up and speak on behalf of the church and let these people know we're going to protect the borders of this country and the borders and the integrity of the church. We must stand and we will.
Are you the lone
voice? Let the church say amen.
Amen. One second. Are you the lone voice in the wilderness? Because obviously, Pastor Carol Moss, the Christian Council appears to be not interested.
Okay.
They have not. Today is now Wednesday. Tonight is now Wednesday.
Yeah.
There's not been one statement, one video, one voice note that was sent anywhere in opposition.
Well,
what I am saying is this, Pastor Carol Moss, is that obviously the church is saying, guess what? It can happen. Let it happen.
The problem is...
Wait, Pastor Carol Moss. They didn't hide a flag. They didn't put the flag, and they didn't go like this and was marching. They went like this, and everybody know what Pride Bahamas represents. What I'm saying is, I am wondering exactly what it's going to take. You said the church got too much little schisms and little embers that are burning and could easily be caught. My thing is, what the church doing and when and why?
The LGBTQIAQ is in the church. That's the problem. So because we're in the church and we are a part of the government a little bit, so that's why some of the voices are not speaking. Because one, they're in the church, they are in the church, they're in the church, and they are in the government. So because of this, good men are silent because they are part of our children, they are part of the uncle, your aunts, your mother, your daddy, the church. Because we are part of it, we don't want to offend anyone. But Shanique, the gospel offense, the gospel offense, and someone has to stand as the voice and tell these people, you're not allowed to take territory in the Bahamas. You cannot. You won't go to the United States and deal with Kamala Harris. You all deal with that, but not here for God to curse this country. We will not allow you and allow God to curse this country. Every time a major hurricane comes here, because we are praying, the hurricane goes away. But now we saying DeMarco and Thompson can stand as activists and stand. But we are going to stand against you because there are some people that love God and love this Bahamas. And we refuse to allow you to think that you can come here and bring your foolishness here. The devil is a liar.
Shanique, I want to piggyback a little bit. I think Carol has the passion tonight. But what I want to piggyback on is the statement that she just made about them being deceptive. Now I want to ask a question, not just to the organizers of the LGBTQIA community, but I want to ask a question of the government in this country and of all branches of leadership in this country. Where is it in the Bahamas that human rights are under attack? Now, I need somebody to clearly define that to me. I want somebody to clearly explain where in the Bahamas there is a problem with human rights. Now the deception is, just like Carol said, Pastor Carol, I'm sorry, said, is that we all know that there is an LGBTQ faction or community in the local churches, the local fellowships, the local assemblies in the Bahamas. We all know that it's in the governing party and the opposition. And so therefore, I want now the government and the opposition to come forward and explain where are the infringement upon human rights in this nation. Now, Martin Luther King said that we hold these truths, self-evident, that all men are created equal. And of course, looking at the United States Constitution, where for a time, black people were considered 1/8 of society. Let me tell y'all something. DeMarco and your little group or your little gang of homosexuals, Let me say something to you. In the Bahamas, we do not have any infringement upon human rights. Matter of fact, y'all get along well in this country as a whole, because in other countries of the world, I'm going to say it because, and I'm not going to say allegedly, in other countries of the world, y'all would have been killed. So in the Bahamas, where there is no infringement of human rights.
There's a compromise.
Now, let me say something here.
Yeah.
Rights that are human means something that is intrinsic. In other words, this is something that you cannot do anything about. I cannot do anything about my blackness. I am a black woman. I'm proud of it. That's the reason I don't bleach, because I'm proud of my blackness. Are you hearing me, Natino? And so therefore, you got to, you not to call name, because they came on, came on and y'all put their name on the picture, so I could call the name. So what I want the LGBTQ community to come and explain to me, along with the government and the opposition, where are human rights being infringed upon in the Bahamas? Are we killing gays? No, let me finish. We ain't killing gays over here. Nobody can go on the streets or go on the media houses and speak derogatorily against gays to their detriment, even though they would like to make us believe that.
Well, I want you to put a pin right there, because I want to tell you what Wikipedia.
Why you stop me while I was hot?
No, I want you to keep the temperature.
Yes. Go ahead.
I want to tell you what Wikipedia says and what is being put out there on the Bahamas to the world, perhaps by this same group.
Yeah.
It says LGBTQ rights in the Bahamas. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender people in the Bahamas have limited legal protections.
What?
Yes, that's right. Listen.
Deception.
While same-sex sexual activity is legal in the Bahamas, there are no laws that address discrimination or harassment on the account of sexual orientation or gender identity, nor does it recognize same-sex unions in any form. So
they're revealing themselves now.
Wait a minute. This is what, remember now, the fight is for equality, justice, and acceptance. So nor does it recognize same-sex unions in any form, whether it be marriage or partnerships. Households, let me just read this, please. Households headed by same-sex couples are also not eligible for any of the same rights given to opposite-sex married couples. So this is what they're fighting for right there.
Shanique, let me talk, Carol. Shanique. I don't want you to think that this LGBT community is being backed locally. They are being backed, and I will say allegedly, but I know what the Spirit told me, but I'm going to say allegedly. They are being backed allegedly by international partners. And so therefore we recognize what is happening. We recognize that allegedly, not allegedly, because she came here, VP Kamala Harris came here, and I heard it with my own ears, that she said, was it DeMarco who it was that she spoke to, when she said, we are here for you. So we realize that this is being not just promoted here in the Bahamas, but it is being encouraged internationally. Now I'm going right back to what I'm saying. Now let me go back to what I'm saying. Human rights is something that's given to those that are born with something that you can't do anything about. You chose to be gay. You were not born gay. You were not born homosexual or gay or lesbian. That is a choice. And so therefore, the law cannot, I don't care what nonsense is going on in the U.S., the law here in the Bahamas must be able to justify, and it must be able to justify to the Bahamian people that are governed by a constitution that has a preamble that we are a Christian nation. So I say again, the government and the opposition must come forth to the Bahamian people and say, don't worry about the Christian Council, because that's a waste of time. They must come forward to the Bahamian. You know, used to be beat about gumbo that. We already know that's a waste of time. Leave that alone. So the government and I say that in love, but I say it in truth. The government and the opposition must now come forward and tell us, where are human rights in this country being infringed upon? Because if you're saying now that the LGBTQ community deserves to have common marriage, deserves to have adopt children, deserves to have the same rights as what we call the generic family, not the generic, the organic family, which we see in Genesis 1 and 2. Now, if the government is going to say they have the same rights, I want the government, my Prime Minister, I love you. Davis, you and Pintan, come to the country and say that the LGBT community deserves the same rights. Show us where their rights are being infringed upon as human beings. Because they didn't say this a gay march. They say this a human rights march.
No, but they have the flag.
Let her go.
They have the flag. They need to be shut down because they were given a voice that they should not have.
Absolutely.
They're given a voice, even in the UB. They're given a voice they should not have. You know why? Because no one is fighting against them. And as far as they're concerned, the church ain't fighting. No one is stopping them.
Absolutely.
So they're going forward and doing certain things. But I bet you, I promise you, if they don't shut you down, DeMarco and Nulu, whoever you are, Natino, God will shut you down. I promise you that, because we did with one man, one woman, that's it, and that's all.
But what I'm trying to say is, these human rights that you are asking for is intertwined with the white rights of those who are heterosexual. This is what I don't understand. Because you want the right to adopt children. Where are the children coming from? The last time I checked, 2 men cannot produce. I don't care how much you change yourself and say it was a man turned into a woman or whatever the case may be. As far as the laws of nature and the laws of God, 2 men cannot have children. 2 women cannot have children. So the devil have you so deceived, that's really what it is, that you can't see that what is abnormal and what is unnatural, it goes against the word of God. But because you want your way, you want your way. You want to do whatever you want to do in this Bahamas, but it's not going to happen because this is a democratic country. And even though there may be 60% of them who want the down low, I do believe that.
60% where?
Right here in this country. 60%, right here in this country.
Ladies,
in the church and in the country, they're on the down low.
Ladies,
but democratically, the Bahamas, Latino, and DeMarco, it's not going to stand for that. So
listen to me.
Stand down.
Listen to me. I am saying is when you speak that way, and you have every right to speak that way, but they, again, the whole premise of it is they have every right to express themselves as well on the streets of New Providence and wherever else. So do you foresee, ladies, next year, 2025, that there will be a full-out month
it ain't gonna happen.
As happens?
It ain't gonna happen.
What's going to stop it?
I am going to organize the largest mass. If I got to do what the Democratic Party do, if I got to bust some people in from the U.S., we going to have a march to go against that march. Whatever it is they trying to do, we going to go against it. We are going to march and protest against it because it's not going to happen.
1 second, brothers. I call for the Christian Council. I'm calling for Delton Fernandez. Please, sir, you must stand as the border of this country and speak on behalf of the church and let the church and the Bahamas know we do not stand for it. I call for you, sir. Stand and take action as the Christian Council. No, sir. I'm going to call again. I'm going to call again.
Yeah, don't call no more.
Delton Fernandez. Please stand up.
Ladies,
stand up.
He ain't answering. He's not answering. He's not answering. You all, listen to me. You all have been vocal on this matter. You all have to stand and take charge and have your own movement or response.
They think they're march large. They're going to see a march next year.
But ladies, I have to go to a break.
Bahamians have to stand too. Bahamians.
Bahamas, are you ready? Keep the vibe alive. Music group, along with Alpha Sounds, present the best of the best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded. This is the biggest one-day all-Bahamian concert of the year. Featuring KB, D-Mac, Abby, Mama D, Fan Sean, Shine 242, The Falcon, and more. Mark your calendars. It's going down November the 2nd at Super Club Breezes Ground. Tickets now available at BahamasEtickets.com or both Beauty Shack location. General admission $60. VIP, Skybox, and Skypods also available. For more info, call 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Experience the magic once again with more legends for one night only. Come party with us November 2nd at Best of the Best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Well, it's all about women's empowerment. We're shifting gears now. After I had to go and try quickly get some cold water. Listen, these women, they wanted to really express on behalf of the church that all of a sudden went mum, and so therefore these pastors have come out and say, Shanique, hold up, we would like to come out and address this matter, and rightly so that they did. And they have been doing so for a number of many months now. In fact, from last year, I think it was, this show has addressed that matter. And it's also been a level playing field in that we have had also the opposite view come in and also speak to what is being desired in this nation. And so certainly it was not an attack, but it was an opportunity, but free speech. It's the same very rights that we all enjoy, free speech. And so this evening, we are going to shift gears. We talk about the fact that this nation and the growing wealth gap and the fact that women in many instances are being left behind in terms of opportunities or perhaps not knowing how to properly take advantage and embrace the opportunities. Well, the Progressive Liberal Party's New Providence Women's Branch is hosting an economic empowerment seminar this coming Saturday. The ladies are here to talk about it, and they're also going to come back on Friday because they have a lot of things to say. I'll tell you, because if you've ever attempted to do business, get business, wonder about business, how do you begin even to step into that space, it is extremely confusing in this nation, extremely in the various steps you must go through. So therefore, we're going to get started this evening. I'm so happy to welcome Siobhan Johnson and Belinda Chipman. Ladies, good evening to both of you. It's good to have you both here.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome. It's good to have you both here. Let's just talk about the fact that women in the Bahamas are still, and people would be surprised to know this, that women in the Bahamas are still very much lagging when it comes to just sort of being in that corporate space and earning as much as men, and even having access to the opportunities that men have access to. Siobhan, perhaps you can start.
Yes, so thank you for having us again. So this Saturday at 9 to 1 p.m., we're going to have a Women's Empowerment Forum. For this forum, what we're going to do is help level the playing field. We don't want women to make excuses anymore, so we want to make sure they have the tools required to compete. And we're dealing with a broad demographic of women. Sometimes people only think about young entrepreneurs, but you have a lot of women, like after COVID, that were displaced in the job force.
And even something I love seeing that's taking shape in the Bahamas now, we are now having second careers, even third, fifth, 10th, you know what I mean? Like a 10th round of this thing. Therefore, you can redefine and show up differently. But again, you have to know how.
Yes, and so we have agencies coming in, both private and public sector. We have Inland Revenue. We have NIB. We're going to have the Chief Procurement Officer of the Ministry of Finance is going to come. And then we're going to have in the afternoon a success panel of successful business women in the country. Darnell Osborne with Dairy Queen and an esteemed accountant. We're going to have Rotalia Williams, who just opened her business, Island Soul Shoes in Harborview, and Corel Pinder. So we're covering a broad spectrum of professions, who is a playwright. And so, because even that, the orange economy, before we took it for granted that you could make money writing plays or creating art, etc. So we want women to just tap in and do it legitimately and correctly so that they get paid.
Yes. Now, you know, Belinda, I'd like for you to step in and talk about the fact that the Bahamas is now, we're expected and we're pegged to welcome in excess of 12 million tourists by the end of this calendar year. What does that mean for stepping into this space on Saturday and taking advantage of the opportunities that's going to be available in terms of just being able to explore some ideas to step into that tourism space and all the wonderful opportunities available?
Yes, well, Shanique, I can tell you that as Siobhan mentioned, the orange economy, you know, that is a very passionate point for me with the entertainment, the culture, and the building and the securing of our heritage and our culture through tourism and through any entity that would develop that skill. So imagine having a forum that allows you to build whatever. Can you imagine? The Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And if women, we're trying to get women to believe that on all levels, holistically, in every area of their life. And so in the tourism environment, anything that you can come up with that is something that will attract a visitor, then there are going to be entities there that will help you to develop those skills, writing business proposals,
that's important,
getting the loans and the grants.
Yeah, because ladies, once you have that business plan, that proposal, all those various things checked off, it also makes you very appealing then to go knocking on doors for funding, yes?
And can I also add that you have incubators now, the Tourism Development Center, who's focused on tourism, creating that linkage between the industry, the cruise ship, the hotels, and saying, here are the opportunity, here's the feedback we're getting from the tourists, the experiences they're looking for, and they're helping you from branding to marketing to financial management to basically launch businesses or grow your businesses.
Definitely.
So that you can basically take advantage of this boom and this growth.
I love that you mentioned that, and Belinda, you could jump in because I love that you mentioned that, Siobhan. BAIC, I was very surprised to learn recently when they appeared on this show, has such sort of a department and a unit where they help you get started. They ensure that you have everything you need. Then they even assist you in going to market, for example, to the cruise ship, to the cruise ship port, to various cruise lines, or to nice boutique hotels and opportunities and various festivals. Again, to get that thing that you have created, and that whether it's in the orange economy, whatever it shows up as, but to get it out there.
And not only that, export. Traditionally, we just market it to ourselves. Now it's easier than ever to export externally with the advent of the internet. You could just set up different profiles and have e-commerce and ship. I'm supporting the post office, you know, ship with the post office around the globe, you know, so you can now, you see so many couriers, DHL, FedEx. So you don't have to just target local
I agree.
persons.
I
You can
agree. We
also
realize the
export.
world is
Yes.
this big
Yes.
once we step into that space, because now you can export. And then, so is there also an entity that's going to be present on Saturday that show you how to properly market it for the international market?
Yes.
Because there's a difference than when we set up a booth here and sell it here
Yeah.
versus having to have that properly packaged to ship internationally.
You know, Shanique, I went to something recently. I can't remember what it was, but I literally heard the Deputy Prime Minister, who is the Minister of Tourism, he was practically begging, okay, persons to come in, saying, listen, we're having millions of visitors come to the shores, and we want you to come up with your business. And they're now focusing on pushing women as well to say, come on out. We will, one, help you to design and to put it in a format that it is presentable and marketable, as well as we can get you the funding, whether it's through a grant or whether it's through a loan to develop this business. And that's just only the orange economy, but there is all kinds of things out there that I believe a lot of women don't know about. And sometimes
give us some ideas, ladies,
with the burdens.
Give us some ideas of some things that perhaps your speakers and your panelists will tease the imagination of women on Saturday at the wonderful seminar that you're putting on. Give us some ideas of where women can begin thinking, because the reason this is so important. I spoke with a colleague recently who talked about the fact that he took advantage of loans. Several, in fact, but he didn't go shopping and didn't jump on the first plane. He turned those into businesses, and now at an age that he's facing retirement, he feels comfortable. There's no stress. He feels good that he used that money and he did something that now will last even after he retires and well on for years to come.
So the Bahamas Development Bank just had a session where, as a woman entrepreneur, you could have gotten grant and loan funding at 2%. You cannot go to a bank and get a commercial loan at 2%. And if you were a youth entrepreneur, it was 1%. If you were someone with disabilities, very inclusive, 0%.
Disabilities as well.
Yes. So we need to know, and Bahamas Development Bank will be there to present and talk about these opportunities.
Bahamians need to be made aware of all of this information.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, ladies, and you both know this, doing business here is first of all, getting started in the business, getting the wheels turning is the most difficult thing ever, because you got to go through all these different, it's almost like you know the maze. You all know the maze, how they put the hedges. So it's almost like you're stuck in a maze, and you're trying to okay, what do we do? Okay, I was here. I know I was here. I got to go back. It's a lot.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the entities that will be there will be the Department of Inland Revenue, and you need business licenses to start a business. How does that process work?
Right,
so there are persons there to assist you with that. There is a government entity and a government site that is called Bonfire, and that site alone has tons of opportunities, and for everyone really, but we're talking about women to secure contracts to do from one thing to the next, and I'm talking about from anywhere from purchasing new uniforms for immigration to getting the furniture for a government entity to cleaning somewhere, you name it. So even if you're not, no matter what level of the spectrum you're from academically, you can still secure something that can provide for your family.
And that is the thing right there. That's where Belinda's become an even playing field.
Yes.
We now know wealth can come through the plumber.
Yes.
It can come through somebody who mows the lawn, or it can come with the person in the corner office. Meaning then, it's according to what you want, how you apply yourself, because there's no more this sort of model for how wealth can show up in your life. Wealth can truly show up in your life, as these ladies are saying, through almost any measure now. But you've just got to be equipped with the necessary information, tools, and strategies and help to be able to go and make that happen.
You know, that in the room will be powerful itself, because the women, we're up to 200 out of 300. We may have to expand registration.
This is amazing.
And
all
these
just telling us about
very successful women in the room, and women empower women. Women make other women stronger. So just to be in that room on Saturday morning is going to be powerful.
So listen, ladies, of course we'll hear more on Friday's show. But tell us where, what time.
At the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium. We're going to transform the space, and we're going to be there from 9 in the morning. Please come from 7:30 so that you could start the networking, because the persons who will be there will be there to actually sign you up. There will be booths there. It's not just for talking, it's there to be active and signed up and get support. So come and fellowship with us and be inspired.
This is amazing. Sure. Listen, ladies, I'm looking forward to hearing more on Friday. And just a reminder so that you know where you need to be on Saturday. This is going to be worth your while. You all, let's get empowered. Let's become financially independent and move forward to help build this nation, but even more importantly, secure our families and our futures. That's really important. Thank you so much.
$20.
For only, you didn't say that part, basically. But Belinda, how you can leave that out?
I was waiting for
that was something else.
Yeah, for only $20.
$20, including lunch. A delicious lunch.
What's the lunch? The lunch better be good.
Always.
Light lunch.
This is the PLP's New Providence Women's Branch talking about a Women's Empowerment Forum that they are having on Saturday morning. You heard where it's going to be, Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium. That's pretty nice. It's really, really super. A lot of activities happen there and it's quite comfortable. Thank you very much, Siobhan Johnson, Belinda Chipman. Thank you, ladies, so much. Of course, at the top of the show, thank you very much, Ellington Ferguson. Thank you to, listen, Patrice and Carol. I didn't want to. I usually have to take a downer. I'm done with them. And of course, thank you very much, Siobhan Johnson and Belinda Chipman. Thank you. And thank all of you for tuning in this evening. We certainly enjoyed having you along. And we look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.